That's the reading exercise for today, and it's can you see the skeleton of T-Rex? Yeah. The chapter is Who Owns Fossils? Who owns fossils? Rules and regulation covering fossil hunting are often quite vague and in any case vary greatly around the world. This is rarely of consequence if people hunt fossils for pleasure, for their own personal collection and displays, cause minimal damage on site and make no monetary gain. Occasionally, there are problems when an unexpected find turns out to be very valuable or scientifically important. For example, assume a marvelous fossil is discovered, which is potentially worth a small fortune. Who gets the recognition and or the money? In most cases, the actual finder, whether professional or amateur fossil sleuth, receives the recognition. Photographs of the specimen in situ with the person who spotted it are invaluable evidence in this respect to ensure that credit is given where due, but the actual ownership of the fossil and any profit arising from it could be claimed by several parties, singly or in combination. They include the landowner. This may be a private individual, a national, a state organization like a heritage trust, or a business or commercial outfit such as mining company. The benefactor or financier who has put up the funds to support the dig and pay for the equipment, expenses and other costs. The leader, organizer or site manager of the dig who takes ultimately responsibility for decisions about which fossils are worth excavating. The organizers and institutions which has set up and probably funded the excavation such as university, museum or paleontological society. A commercial company which buys and sells fossils and which may not be involved in a direct or practical way, but which has bought the rights to any or all specimens yielded by the field trip. Famous fossil battle. For day-to-day finds, such a list may seem fanciful, but there were months of discussions over who owned, so had the right to sell at auction. The enormous Tyrannosaurus zoo worth US $8 million. This incredible specimen, the largest and most complete T-Rex fossil ever discovered, was found in 1990 by dedicated fossil hunter Sue Hendrickson, a volunteer with the Black Hill Institute of Geological Research, South Dakota. Hendrickson was one of a party digging for fossils on land owned by Sue's leader Morris Williams. Peter Larson, president of the Black Hills Institute, bought the rights to excavate the Tyrannosaurus for a comparatively small sum, but the validity of the sale was later contested by the US federal government. While her ownership was under question, Sue spent time in transit under conditions that many paleontologists argued would have a detrimental effect upon her bones. She was eventually sold in New York by Sotheby's for the famous seven-figure sum in October 1997, 7 years after her discovery. Public access. Some fossil sites have open access and can be enjoyed by virtually anyone at any time. The main examples are coasts and shorelines. Specimens can be usually picked up and removed without problems. On areas of common land, it may be possible to pick up a loose specimen lying at the surface, but any use of hammers or other tools to chip and release an embedded fossil is not advised. It could be viewed as illegal damage to the site and legal claims of trespass and criminal damage could be brought. For almost anywhere else, it is wise to obtain written permission from the landowner, see Collector's Code, and transporting fossils. This may vary from a quarrying company or private estate owner to highways authority or district council. The local paleontology or geology society can help with this, or it may require a visit to the local council or land registry office. It is one of many reasons why novice fossil collectors are urged to join a local club or society. Many owners of fossil-rich sites have standard agreements ready to sign, date, and exchange. Part of the agreement is to absolve the landowner from any risk and make the fossil hunter solely responsible for accidents and injuries. Fossil sites may well be steep and rocky and with loose stones, and claims for injury compensation are all too familiar part of modern life. So do observe the general countryside code at all times when out and about. Special cases. Many valuable fossil sites and other areas of natural beauty and special interest have been made into national parks, wildlife refuges, or heritage reserves. It is usually against the regulations to take any fossils or other items from these places. Some ill-informed amateurs may believe that a small fossil slipped into the pocket could not be traced, but an expert would soon analyze the specimen, its mineral makeup and matrix, and so pinpoint its place of origin. That's strange. Sherlock Holmes. Above, the gigantic Tyrannosaurus rex fossil known as Zeus, now housed at the Chicago Field Museum, USA. The museum famously won the bid for the bones, paying US $8.4 million, the largest sum ever exchanged for a fossil, making Zeus a record breaker in every sense. This is not a Jurassic specimen as many assume, rather she is believed to have died at the end of the Cretaceous period, possibly the victim of another Tyrannosaurus aggressor. Her discovery has greatly influenced the way in which paleontologists perceive the movement and behavior of these beasts. The fossils of Sioux were the subject of protracted legal ownership battle between the landowner, the expedition sponsor, and the leading fossil diggers. Countryside code. In addition to various fossil collecting codes as detailed on the following pages, everyone is encouraged to observe the general rules of the countryside code when assessing rural land. Countryside code when assessing rural land, whatever the reasons for doing so. In 2004, following new legislation concerning countryside access and the public's right to roam, the code for England and the Wales was revised and updated. The rules focus on personal safety and the protection of the land. Be safe, plan ahead and follow in signs. Leave gates and property as you find them. Protect plant and animals and take all litter away with you. Keep dogs under close control. Consider other people. In addition, beware of fire risk. Avoid damaging crops or disturbing animals. Respect the work of the countryside. And last, it looks like the Archaeopteryx fossil. Yes, it is. Let me show you. Yeah. Now you can see, and this is the most famous transition fossil which has helped the scientists to uncover the link between the reptiles and the birds when they took the first flight, and what we see around us now, then this the dinosaurs were the predecessors of the bird. So here it is. Let's see what written over there. Fossil rustling. Taking a fossil from a site or collection without proper permission is in effect stealing. The recent explosion in prices paid for the best fossil specimens has meant that cases of fossil rustling have tripled in the past 20 years. One of the most infamous is the so-called Maxburg torso specimen of Archaeopteryx, one of the only 7 or so fossils of this earliest known bird. The only specimen to held as a part of private collection in Pappenheim, Germany. The Maxburg mysteriously disappeared following the death of its owner Edward Oppich in 1991. Despite police investigations, it has not been found and is now believed to have been privately sold. Below, other Archaeopteryx fossils form part of collections in Germany and at the Natural History Museum, London. So this brings an end to today's reading session. Now I'll be continuing with my lecture session of every day. So see you on the other side. Bye bye.